Hello everybody, GL1 here. Welcome to my online toy museum. And today I'm going to talk about Allosaurus. A new Allosaurus has just hit the Jurassic World. And for once, this is actually a dinosaur that was a Jurassic dinosaur, unlike TRex, which was a Cretaceous dinosaur much later. Allosaurus is quite popular. It ate, they estimate, brachiosaurs and stegosaurus, and I'm sure quite a few others. One of the differences between Allosaurus and our very familiar T-Rex is that Allosaurus was, though possibly similar in length, estimates go from 28 feet to maybe even 40, 43 feet. It was much lighter built. So it was built anywhere, they estimate, between about 3,000 pounds all the way up to 8,000 pounds. But in any case, that's still at about half as much as a T-Rex, so at the most. But anyhow, because there's so many different presumptions about Allosaurus, I can only assume a couple of things. One, that's why they keep coming out with different Allosaurus designs. And the other, someone at Mattel really loves Allosaurus. So, all right, so the first couple Allosaurs are much smaller. Now, this Allosaur, again, what I didn't get into, what's different with the T-Rex, not only is it much lighter in built, but it has 3 fingers, all right, instead of 2. And the arms are longer. So that's very different. And it does seem to have, what they've found is some structures above its eyes that could be used maybe for enhancing sound or just decorative look that, bird type of creatures have. And dinosaurs are related to birds, or birds are related to dinosaurs. And so that's something that they keep doing different things on the toys with the above the eye structure. Now, this Allosaurus would make a noise, although the batteries are dead, but you'd push a button here and the mouth would close, and it would do like 3 different roars. But, it's just the batteries don't last long on these toys. That's one thing. So this one has no spikes on its neck or anything like that. You can see that it has sort of a bumpy, they gave it a bumpy skin, kind of, scaly in a way, and maybe even some hints of scars there. One of the problems with the Allosaurus toys is that they do fall over easy. They didn't really make the feet large enough to balance well, but they might be very well in proportion with the animal itself. It's just, getting sometimes the plastic to stand up is a little bit difficult. Now, this Allosaur came out later, a little bit later, and it has some other features. Its tail moves more, and it has one button for closing the mouth. It doesn't make any sounds, and then the other button here makes the arms move and grasp, and you can move them at different angles and have them, move in, not independently, but you can have them at different placements. You see, they ratchet, and then they can move. So it's sort of like clawing, right, and then biting and clawing and biting, and at the same time you can do both. All right. So you could pretend that maybe one is a male and one is a female. With birds, males are usually more colorful, more decorative, like the peacock. So perhaps the male is the one here that might have the spikes. You can look at their teeth, and you can see that the toy's teeth structure is very different. You have much larger teeth on the smoother Allosaur, and you have a larger mouth but smaller teeth on the blue one. Well, they weren't satisfied with those Allosaurs. So then they came out with this big guy about a year ago, actually a year and a half ago. And I remember getting this when it was new, and I was shooting a movie Jurassic Jungle Island Adventure, actually, and this showed up at the end of the movie. And you can see that much larger than the other two, and even more prominent ridge over the eye. And this one has a button here you can push down, and it roars. A couple of different sounds, and you can see it has the spikes similar to the blue one. Get those and you can take a look. So, although the blue one has longer spikes on its back, and this one has a boo-boo. So you can have it wounded here and press that in, and then, oh no, it got wounded really bad, the bones are exposed. And then you can lift that up, and then the soft, gutsy underbelly, maybe it's liver, and you can see maybe intestines over there. So bad day for this. Yes, he's gonna roar. I love the detail in the mouth muscle structure in there, and like a chow dog, look, it has a dark tongue. So they gave it a dark tongue because we really don't know what those colors were like on any of these dinosaurs. As of yet, we haven't found a definite way to be able to tell. It's possible that maybe we'll find some kind of pigments at some point. This one has the lateral foot articulation, so that will help it stand more. And it still has the narrow feet like Allosaurus has in comparison to a T-Rex. But being able to move these feet wider really helps it stand better. And it even has some lateral hip articulation. So you can get this one to pose better. And, it used to be that we thought the two-legged dinosaurs, theropods, would stand up like this. But then later it was found that no, they probably did a lot of their walking with their bodies balanced over their thigh muscles and the tail balancing them. So they would be more of that posture. All right, well, now we're going to get to the really cool Allosaurus that just came out. And it's very hard to find. And people are already selling it for too much money on eBay. And it's kind of expensive, pricey to begin with. It was $35. But, so was the one behind it when it was new. So, all right. So it's big just like the previous one. And it's Epic Evolution. So you're going to see how does Allosaur evolve. So I don't know what that means for the movie franchise. Does that mean that the next movie, if they, come out with one, there's going to be a situation where the dinosaurs evolve further on their own. So this one you just pull right out of the package. You don't have to buckle the feet from underneath. And all right, so we're going to compare the two big ones. I mean, already there's a difference in some of the molding of this. All right, so let's take a look. We're going to have to move this camera because these guys are big. All right, so let's check out their length. And all right, so actually the older one's a little bit longer. Okay, so if we put them nose to nose, and we're going to see the tail, we can see there's more tail on the more gracile Allosaur, okay, the brown fella. But we can also see that the bluer one is more heavily built in the neck. So the structure of the neck is a little bit thicker. The heads are pretty similar. Actually, the older Allosaur, the brown one, seems to have a little bit of a longer snout, a more narrow snout. A more narrow snout often translates to less bite force. So kind of like a bulldog has a lot of bite force because it's got that short muzzle and more leverage. So right away, the thing we see is, of course, that the new one is more spiky. And there comes in its evolution, because there's a lever back here, and here comes a surprise. And look, it can grow the spikes on its back. So you don't really want to mess with its back, I suppose. And what's also nice is the tail is a nice softer plastic back here, and you can swing that, right? Whereas, let's see, on the older Allosaur, you could swing the tail from further up. And this back part is softer, but still kind of stiff. But on the new one, the Evolution, this is significantly softer. You don't have as much tail that moves, but it seems to move quite well. The feet are different, so you can see that the posture. Let's lower this down here. The posture of the ankles is very different. On this, the blue Allosaur, you can see the ankles are far more upright, whereas they're more horizontal on our brown fella over here. You see that? So, and you can see these are much more upright. Okay, so that's giving him a higher gait. His legs are more muscular as well. You can see the calves are much thicker, much heavier. The thighs are about the same. I'd say the blue one's slightly thicker. But the arms are, he's definitely more muscular in the arms. He's been doing some biceps and triceps, probably preacher curl and overhead tricep extensions. But you can see the arms are bigger, and even the forearms. So he's probably been doing a lot of hammer curls and maybe even pull-ups to build up that brachialis muscle that we see right there. And there's the bicep and tricep. All right, so you can also see that the shoulders, they covered it. They gave it more shoulder showing as far as the shoulder instead of the joint, whereas on this one, the brown one, you can move the arm more, but you also see that joint more. All right, so other surprises on this one. You rotate this wheel, and take a look at that. So it's got a wheel, and he does different sounds, crunching noises. And you can push the wheel forward. And the other thing you'll notice right away is the teeth are individual. So take a look at that. Very menacing teeth. Very large. And you don't see, it's not like just a big stamped out piece of plastic that's all molded together. You see how those are really not very individual, and they're smaller teeth. I love the detail though around the eye and the head sculpt back here. Very nice. This one doesn't have as much detail in here, but then you have the teeth, really big teeth. You got that dark tongue again, because why not? All right, and you also see that this muscle structure here is different, whereas on this Allosaur, you have the two pieces going the two different directions. So I like that. So it's like they're always giving you a little bit more or a little bit less. They always make it so that it's worthwhile to have the older one and the new one. They are different from each other. And then on the bottom, you have, on the foot, you have, look, you have the T-Rex symbol of Jurassic Park. And last, instead of having the computer-generated symbol that you scan for your app, where you pull it up, this one, you pull that leg panel down. And once again, you have the T-Rex in there. But then you scan that. What's nice about having the bigger scan, it scans much easier. Now, I've had the software, and I've gotten rid of the software, and I had it again, and I got rid of it again. It's a lot of megabytes, and I find I don't even use it. But you see on the on this one here, the scan is you stick your finger in there and you pull that up. So that's how they had that. On the older one, or ones, it was on the feet, on the bottom of the feet. And I suspect they stopped putting it on the bottom of the feet because if you're playing with it, it's going to get dirty, it might get ripped off, then you can't scan it. The other is it's much smaller and it was not easy to scan. So I found that to be irritating. This new Allosaur is quite significant in size. And so this would be, they're both long, larger Allosaurs. So they're maybe both in the 40-foot range, which is, possible. We haven't found a lot. There's a lot of dinosaurs yet to be discovered, and a lot of any particular species. Sometimes they find offshoots or particularly large specimens. But I think what we can do now is we can compare these to our Hammond collection T-Rex. All right, so as big as and burly as this Allosaur is, we can see that, he's no match for the king T-Rex. And he wouldn't have been anyway. But, they were millions, tens of millions of years apart. So they really would not have come in contact with each other. But they're both just really great theropods. And, as I've said before, the Hammond Collection T-Rex is, I'd say, one of my favorite toys. I've waited many years for them to come out with a decent, or more than decent, an exceptional T-Rex with all kinds of articulation. I love the glass eyes, all the joints on it. And I suspect that after, bilking us of the dollars that we have spent, some of us on Allosaurs, they will finally come out with a Hammond Collection Allosaur. And I'll get that. Right. Now look at the teeth on the Allosaur versus the Hammond Collection T-Rex. So that's really cool. I guess I got to say I like these a little bit better. They're a little bit thinner. T-Rex had what they call peg-like teeth that were meant for busting through bone. So, and you can see, look, they got the muscle in there is soft, whereas it's a hard plastic here. So the Hammond Collection really is a step up, in toy technology, and position. But this is a really nice Allosaur. And I'd say, $35, you don't have lateral motion in the hips, but you got the ratcheting. It stands really well. And I think it's worth the money compared to a lot of things out there. It's a little pricey. Maybe $29 would have been better, but $35, okay, not so bad. What I will show you real quick is something that was $35 that's generally on the same shelf that is definitely not worth it, and that would be this T-Rex here. When I saw this on the shelf for $35, I was like, why? This is not even the full-size T-Rex like the bull T-Rex, any of that. This is the middle scale T-Rex. I mean, there's a larger one that is not the Hammond Collection. The thrash and throw is bigger. Now this one, and the thrash and throw is, it costs, I think it was up to like $45, but for $35 for this, you have a button. All right. But this mold, other than, has generally been around for a while now, several years. And it's, like I said, it's not really the biggest. Doesn't have lateral hip articulation. You do get your feet that you can move around some, inward, not outward. And let's see, you don't even have lateral motion on the arms. They just go back and forth. So they took that away. All right, so you pull up, this is your scan in there. But really what you have is you just have a button for the sound. And it's good sounds, but, it's not, I don't think it's really worth $35. The Allosaur definitely is worth more. I mean, with the individualized teeth and the sounds and the rubberized tail, the spikes that go up, and just the very newness of it. And you can see this T-Rex in comparison to the Hammond collection. All right, so close that mouth so you get a good comparison. All right, so it's significantly smaller than the Hammond collection one, and the Hammond collection that was $50. So what a great buy that was, and it went on sale for as low as 16 at Target. So, but there was a whole bunch of these, and then on Black Friday at Walmart they were selling this for $8. So that's how I picked that up, and that was definitely worth it. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed that. And if you can find that Allosaur, at the $35 price point, that's as good as you're going to get. You're not, because if you go on eBay or whatever, they're already trying to sell it for like $60, $65. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to play with my dinosaurs. All right. Well, thank you, and I will be talking to you soon. Take care.